Emily had never felt so out of place. After her parents' bitter divorce, she was sent to live with her father in the quiet town of Ashwood. The town was small, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone else, and she was the outsider, the girl with the messy past and the uncertain future. Her father tried to make the transition smooth, but Emily felt like she was walking on thin ice. Every glance from the neighbors, every whisper in the hallways of Ashwood High reminded her that she didn't belong here. On her first day at school, she stumbled through the crowded hallways, clutching her books like a shield. That's when she saw him. Lucas. Tall, with dark brown hair and eyes that seemed to see right through her. He leaned against a locker, smirking slightly, as if he already knew all her secrets. Emily felt a pull she couldn't explain, equal parts fear and fascination. During lunch, Emily sat alone, picking at her sandwich. She tried not to look, but she kept stealing glances at Lucas, who seemed to notice every detail about her, yet revealed nothing. Later, while exploring the town, she stumbled upon a small park. To her surprise, Lucas was there, sitting under an oak tree, sketching in a notebook. His focus was intense, almost hypnotic. "Hey," Emily called softly. Lucas looked up, startled, then smirked. "You're the new girl, right?" "I'm Emily," she replied. "Lucas," he said, closing his notebook. "Don't get lost in the town. People here aren't always friendly to newcomers." Emily felt a shiver. There was a warning in his tone, but also a strange warmth. She realized that Lucas wasn't just another high school boy. He carried something more, something she was drawn to despite herself. As she walked home that evening, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that her life was about to change. Lucas, with his quiet confidence and hidden intensity, had already become the center of her world, and somehow, she knew he had secrets that could change everything. Little did she know, the past of Ashwood, of Lucas, and even her own family would collide in ways she could never imagine. The next few days were a mixture of awkward introductions, stolen glances, and uneasy curiosity. Emily tried to navigate her new school, but it was impossible not to notice Lucas everywhere she went. There was something magnetic about him, something that drew her in despite her better judgment. One afternoon, Emily found herself at the park again, hoping to see him. And there he was, sitting under the same oak tree, sketchbook open. "Hey," she said softly, approaching. Lucas looked up, raising an eyebrow. "Back again? I like this spot," Emily said, glancing around. "It's peaceful." He nodded. "Yeah, helps me think, helps me forget." Emily hesitated. "Forget what?" Lucas's gaze darkened. "Things I'd rather not talk about." For a moment, Emily felt a pang of fear. But curiosity won. "You can trust me," she said softly. "I don't judge." He studied her for a long moment, as if weighing the risk, then shrugged. "All right, but only a little." He flipped the notebook around, revealing sketches, portraits of people, landscapes, even shadows that seemed almost alive. One sketch caught Emily's attention. A dark house on a hill, looming and ominous. "What's that?" she asked. Lucas's face hardened. "My family's house. Secrets there, things you shouldn't see." Emily felt her heart skip a beat. "Secrets?" "Yes," he said, looking away. "I don't want anyone involved, not you, not anyone." I can handle it," she said, trying to mask her fear with determination. "I'm not going to run away from you or your past." Lucas's eyes softened slightly. "You don't understand, some things can't be controlled. And once you're involved, there's no going back." Emily took a deep breath. "I'm not afraid. Not of you, not of the secrets, not of whatever comes next." For the first time, Lucas allowed a faint smile. "You're brave, maybe more than you realize." As Emily walked home that evening, her mind raced. Lucas's past was complicated, shadowed, and dangerous, but she couldn't stay away. And somewhere deep down, she knew that the summer ahead would test everything. Trust, courage, and the fragile beginnings of love. Little did she know, the shadows of Ashwood were closer than she imagined, and they were about to reach out for her. The next morning, Emily found herself unable to focus in class. Her thoughts kept drifting to Lucas. The way his eyes had darkened when he mentioned his family, the sketches that hinted at something unsettling, the pull she felt toward him despite the danger. During lunch, she sat alone, poking at her food, when she felt a shadow fall across her table. "Mind if I sit?" Lucas asked, his usual smirk softening into something gentler. "Sure," she said, trying to sound casual despite her racing heart. They ate in silence for a few minutes, stealing glances at each other. Then Lucas leaned closer. You know, most people would have run by now. Emily shook her head. I'm not most people. He raised an eyebrow. I like that about you. You're stubborn, I guess, she said, smiling despite herself. Maybe stubborn enough to get into trouble. Lucas chuckled. That might be dangerous, but maybe worth the risk. After school, Emily found herself walking with him along the outskirts of town. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the streets. Why are you always alone? She asked softly. Lucas glanced at her, eyes heavy. Because being close to me, it's not safe. People from my past, they've hurt those I care about. I can't risk it happening again. Emily stopped, taking his hands in hers. I don't care about your past, Lucas. I care about you. And I'm willing to take that risk. His gaze softened, but his eyes still held warning. You really don't understand what you're getting into. I understand enough, she said firmly. Enough to know I want to be here, with you. No matter what. For a long moment, they walked in silence, the connection between them growing stronger with every step. Emily realized that her feelings for Lucas were more than curiosity. They were fierce, unrelenting, and dangerous in their own right. As she returned home that evening, she felt a mix of fear and excitement. The summer in Ashwood promised secrets, challenges, and possibly heartbreak, but she couldn't imagine facing it with anyone else. Little did she know, the shadows around Lucas were already moving, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and Emily's resolve would be tested in ways she had never imagined. A few days later, Emily began noticing strange things. Messages left on her locker with no sender, cars parked outside her house that disappeared when she looked, and whispers in the halls when she passed by. The feeling of being watched was constant, gnawing at her confidence. One afternoon, she saw Lucas sitting alone by the river, sketchbook open. His expression was dark, troubled, and unlike the charming smirk she usually saw. Lucas, she said, approaching cautiously. Is everything okay? He shook his head. No, they're back. People from my family's past, they've been watching us. Watching you. Emily's stomach dropped. Watching me? Why? He exhaled slowly, eyes heavy. Because they know you're close to me. And anyone close to me becomes a target. Fear surged through her, but she forced herself to stay calm. Then we face it. Together. I'm not leaving you. Lucas looked at her, torn between protecting her and letting her in. Emily, I can't promise safety. You don't know what this world is like. It's dangerous, and it doesn't forgive mistakes. I understand more than you think, she said softly. And I'm not afraid. Not of you, not of them, not of whatever comes next. For the first time, Lucas allowed himself to fully meet her gaze. There was awe, admiration, and something softer, relief that she chose to stay despite the danger. We need to be careful, he said quietly. And you need to trust me completely. No questions, no running off, no secrets. I trust you, she said, squeezing his hand. Completely. That night, as she lay in bed, Emily couldn't stop thinking about the shadows creeping closer. The whispers of the past that threatened everything she had come to care about. Yet, alongside the fear, a fierce determination burned. She would face it all, with Lucas by her side, no matter the cost. The summer in Ashwood was no longer just about starting over. It was about survival, love, and the courage to face the secrets that could destroy them both. The following week, tension in Ashwood escalated. Emily noticed strangers loitering near her father's house and at school, their gazes lingering just a little too long. Every day felt like walking on a tightrope, the threat invisible but pressing. Lucas was unusually quiet, tense. One evening, he pulled Emily aside near the riverbank. They're coming closer, he whispered. I can feel it. And soon, it won't be just whispers. Emily's pulse quickened. What do we do? We prepare, he said, his jaw tight. We watch, we stay alert, and we don't let them scare us apart. Her hand found his. We face it together. Always. That night, Emily's phone buzzed. A cryptic message. You don't belong here. Stay away. Her heart raced. She showed it to Lucas immediately. They're serious, he said quietly. And they're getting bolder. I don't care, she said firmly. I'm not running away from you or this. Not now. Lucas stared at her, conflicted. You're brave, maybe too brave. But I can't deny it, it gives me hope. Over the next few days, Emily and Lucas devised a plan to protect themselves. They avoided certain streets, stayed close to trusted friends, and created signals to communicate when danger was near. Each small act of preparation strengthened their bond. Despite the looming threat, moments of normalcy sneaked in. They laughed, shared stories, and even snuck into the town library to read together. For a few hours, the world felt almost safe, almost ordinary. But Emily knew it wouldn't last. The shadows of Lucas's past were relentless, and soon, the danger would demand more than caution. It would demand courage, trust, and a willingness to fight for everything they had found together. As she lay in bed that night, Emily realized something. Fear could be paralyzing, but love, trust, and determination could make them unstoppable. And she was ready to face whatever came next, with Lucas by her side. The night air was thick with tension as Emily and Lucas sat in the park, whispering about the latest threat. Every rustle of leaves made Emily's heart race, but she refused to show fear. "We can't let them control us," Emily said, gripping his hand. "We've already risked so much just by staying together. We have to be smart, but we can't run." Lucas nodded, his eyes dark and intense. "I know, but sometimes, I wish I could make all of this disappear. Protect you from every shadow of my past." "You can't protect me from everything," Emily said softly. "And I don't want you to. I want to face it with you. We're stronger together." A long silence followed, broken only by distant barking dogs and the hum of the town. Lucas reached into his pocket and pulled out a small notebook. He flipped it open to a page filled with sketches, faces, places, even the streets around Ashwood marked with small symbols. "I've been tracking them," he explained, "trying to figure out their next move. I can't do it alone. I need your help, Emily." She looked at him, determination shining in her eyes. "Then we do it together. Whatever it takes." Days passed as they carefully watched, mapped patterns, and prepared for the inevitable confrontation. Every shadow, every movement, kept them on edge. Yet through it all, their bond deepened. Emily realized that love wasn't just about moments of happiness. It was about facing fear, danger, and uncertainty together. Then, one afternoon, they spotted a figure lurking near Emily's house. Her heart stopped. "They're here," she whispered. Lucas grabbed her hand, holding it tightly. "Stay calm. Stick to the plan. We can handle this." The figure disappeared into the shadows, but the warning was clear. The danger was closing in. The whispers of the past were no longer distant, they were real, immediate, and threatening everything Emily and Lucas had fought to protect. That night, as Emily lay in bed, she knew one thing with certainty: she would not back down. She would stand by Lucas, face whatever came next, and fight for the love and trust they had built. The summer in Ashwood had transformed from quiet beginnings into a battle of courage, secrets, and survival, and Emily was ready to confront it all. The following evening, Emily and Lucas waited near the edge of town, shadows stretching long in the fading light. The threat that had haunted them for weeks was finally making a move, and they could feel it in every nerve, every glance. "They're coming," Lucas whispered, his voice tight. "I can feel it. We have to be ready." Emily gripped his hand. "We're ready." Together, they hid behind a cluster of trees, watching as figures emerged from the darkness. Emily's heart pounded in her chest. She wanted to run, to hide, but she stayed rooted, knowing that retreating would only give the threat power. Lucas's jaw tightened. "Stay quiet. Follow my lead." The figures moved closer, unaware of their observation. Emily could hear hushed voices plotting, discussing something she couldn't quite catch. She felt a surge of fear, but also determination. Then, one of the figures turned unexpectedly. Emily froze, thinking she had been spotted. Lucas squeezed her hand. "Stay calm. Trust me." They watched as the strangers retreated, apparently unaware of being seen. Lucas exhaled, relief mixed with frustration. "They're testing us. Probing for weaknesses." Emily nodded. "Then we don't give them any. We're stronger than they think." Lucas turned to her, eyes softening. "You've changed me, Emily. Your courage, your strength. I don't know how I survived before you." "I'm not going anywhere," she whispered. "Not now, not ever." As night fell completely, they returned to her father's house, the weight of the day heavy on their shoulders. Yet, despite the fear and uncertainty, there was a flicker of hope. They had faced danger together and survived, and that survival was proof of their resilience. Emily knew that the battles ahead would be harder, more dangerous, but she also knew that with Lucas by her side, she could endure anything. The whispers of the past would not break them. They would face it all, hand in hand, heart to heart, ready for whatever the shadows of Ashwood threw their way. The tension in Ashwood reached its peak that night. Emily and Lucas had received warnings all day, messages, shadows moving too quickly to be just coincidences, and a lingering feeling of being watched. "We have to confront this tonight," Lucas said, his jaw tight. "We can't keep hiding." Emily nodded, determination burning in her chest. "Together. Whatever happens, we face it together." They approached the edge of the forest, where Lucas's enemies were rumored to gather. The air was thick, and Emily's pulse raced, but she refused to show fear. Suddenly, a voice called out from the shadows. "Lucas, you can't hide forever." Emily's breath caught, but Lucas moved in front of her, protective and fierce. "Stay back," he warned. Figures emerged, 3 men, older, their expressions dangerous and calculating. Emily realized these were the ones from Lucas's past, the people who had haunted his life for years. "You shouldn't have involved her," one of them growled. "She's not afraid of me," Lucas said firmly. "And neither am I." A tense silence followed. Then, in a blur of motion, the confrontation began, not with fists, but with calculated strategy. Lucas and Emily moved together, using the environment to their advantage, staying calm under pressure, relying on their trust in each other. Hours felt like minutes. By the end, the intruders retreated, frustrated, unable to break their bond or their resolve. Emily and Lucas were shaken, exhausted, but alive. Emily leaned against Lucas, relief washing over her. "We did it," she whispered. "For now," he said quietly. "But you've been incredible. Brave beyond belief." Emily smiled, tears in her eyes. "I couldn't have done it without you." The threat had not vanished completely, but the balance had shifted. They had faced the danger together, stronger and closer than ever. And for the first time, Emily felt that love, courage, and trust could truly conquer even the darkest shadows. The first rays of dawn painted Ashwood in soft gold and pink. Emily and Lucas sat on the porch of a small, safe cabin they had discovered, their hands intertwined, bodies weary but hearts full. The nights of fear, the shadows of Lucas's past, the threats that had stalked them, all of it felt like a distant storm now. They had survived together, and had emerged stronger. "You know," Lucas said softly, strumming his guitar, "I never thought I'd see the day when I could feel safe. Really safe." Emily smiled, resting her head against his shoulder. "We've earned it. Together." He looked at her, his eyes serious. "I owe you more than I can say. You've faced everything, and you've stayed. Braver than anyone I've ever known." "I'm not leaving you," she whispered. "Not now, not ever. We've faced too much to go back." Lucas smiled, a warmth in his expression she had rarely seen. "Then let's promise something. No more hiding. No more secrets. Whatever comes next, we face it together." "I promise," Emily replied, tears glimmering in her eyes. Weeks passed. The town of Ashwood slowly returned to normal, though Emily and Lucas remained vigilant. School, friends, quiet walks by the river, and evenings at the cabin became their sanctuary. Life rebuilt from fear and uncertainty into trust and love. One evening, standing on the riverbank, Emily watched the sunset, the sky ablaze with color. Lucas wrapped an arm around her. "This summer changed everything," she said softly. Lucas nodded. "And you changed me." They stood in silence, letting the calm wash over them. The past had tried to pull them apart, but their bond had survived, unbroken. The whispers of Ashwood's shadows would never vanish completely, but they no longer controlled them. Emily smiled, finally feeling a sense of peace she hadn't known in months. "This is just the beginning," she whispered. Lucas squeezed her hand. "The beginning of everything, together." As the sun dipped below the horizon, they walked back toward town, side by side, ready to face whatever came next. Fear had tested them, secrets had challenged them, but love, trust, and courage had triumphed. And for Emily, Lucas, and the quiet town of Ashwood, the future was full of possibility, bright, uncertain, and theirs to shape together.